felt that the colors of the words, this is from Orville, told people that they should vote. They just felt red as opposed to green had a different connotation for someone who viewed this website. So we rendered an opinion on this, and it dealt essentially with only the issue of the public funding of the regional school system, not the election of board members, or whether they should adopt the budget or not adopt the budget. So that had nothing to do with it. It's a separate and discrete issue. So on the issue of public funding, the municipality could not tell people how to vote. It could only explain what the votes would have. That's basically what we intended to do. There was never any issue with reference to encouraging or discouraging people to vote against the school budget.
But there was, you were able to encourage or discourage someone to vote yes or no on a school budget. You're saying that is not a problem.
That's correct. I
okay.
mean, you could do that. My only thought is that I think the placement of the public funding issue on the same ballot as the school budget, in my opinion, okay, strictly in my opinion, was probably not a good idea, because it was so confusing as to all these signs and placards and everything, someone saying vote no. It's conceivable in my own mind that someone may have gotten confused on that issue. I think it's only natural.
Right.
Well, you know what I'm saying? So I mean, it's unfortunate that issue had to be placed on the same referendum. The public referendum issue had to be placed on the budget for the school budget issue. I think it was unfortunate because it's conceivable that people may have been confused, and having voted no on the first issue, possibly could have voted no inadvertently on the second issue. There were over 100 people in Wardell that voted to keep the same system in place. I mean, why would they not want to save taxes by shifting the funding? And there were 84 people in River Edge that voted to change the public funding. So they wanted more, it would result in more taxes. So I have to believe that there was an element of misunderstanding out there. I'm not sure how you resolve it. It's unfortunate, in my opinion, that same issue had to be placed on the budget ballot. I think it was unfortunate. I'm sure there were people that voted incorrectly, not understanding what they were voting against.
Thank you.
Thank you, Wendy. Anybody else? Tom?
Tom Smith, 288 Manning Avenue, River Edge. I'd just like to make a couple of comments on the school budget, if I might. You've heard several people mention that the increase this year is approximately $68. I want you to consider not only this year's budget in that, but to take a full look at what the River Edge schools have done and some of the things they've done which has significantly lowered cost to the residents. And one of those particular things was in the Newbridge Center, where most of our children now that have special needs are now educated in River Edge rather than out at River Edge. And that alone, I don't know the exact cost today, but I would think that to educate a child outside of district, the cost could be anywhere from $35,000 to $50,000 per child. And it might be higher than that. I'm not sure of that number.
More.
Okay, more.
80,000.
But the point being is that if we have 20 children, and I just use a number, that we're educating that way, and did I hear somebody say 80,000? If it's 20, it's $1.6 million. And that $1.6 million, if you break it down by what we've raised the taxes, it way more captures that 68 and plus. Over the years, past and current school boards have built schools so that, first of all, the buildings are in outstanding condition. The class sizes are among the best in terms of learning. And the cost, when measured by Bergen County, has River Edge among the 5 lowest, maybe even the 3rd lowest. I'm not 100% sure on that either. And also, our scores again in the state puts it in the top 10 in scores. So we have low cost per student. We have high achievement on the students. We've brought children back and saved millions of dollars, and it's ongoing every year. And a $68 increase, and you'll hear many people say this, well, I'm on a fixed income, I can't deal with it. Well, you know, $68 well spent on education. I've always been in favor of the education when my children were in there. Now I have 4 grandchildren in there. And I can tell you, I see the positive results daily of what comes out of the River Edge school education. So I would really ask you to take a very deep look. Not all of you have been in town for a long time. Some of the things that has been done in the last 10 or 15 years to make our schools as good a school system as they are, you may not be aware of it. You need to talk to people. You need to understand where we were, where we are, and where we're going. I think it would be a shame to cut from the budget that provides the excellent education to our children. And I think if you speak to any of the parents who have children in the school, they know that it's a safe environment, an environment for high learning. And I just think at this point, this would be $68 that would not be of value to this community to cut.
Thank you, Tom. Anybody else?
Kathleen Murphy, 741 Williams Avenue. I just want to let the public know that you can go to the Board of Education website and download this 34-page defeating the budget process, so you can review it and see for yourself what it takes, the measures that are taken. And I'd also like to urge our Board of Ed to appeal to the County Board of Education for this budget be cut and have it restored. We are $884,000 below adequacy, meaning we could have spent upwards to $884,000 more. What more can you take out?
Thank you, Kathy.
Peggy White, 741 Center Avenue. Normally I don't get up. There's too many people here not to get up. As a poll worker, and I've been working as a poll worker for a long time. One thing that you've got to realize is this year, there were so many people. Like last year for the school budget, I read a book while I was sitting there most of the time, and nobody was coming in to vote. There are so many people who came out to vote this time that never voted before, or don't vote in the school, but during the school year. So unfortunately, Oradell put us into this position, and we shouldn't take it out on the people, and we shouldn't take it out on the school because of the fact that this happened. And I will tell you that it was so busy, and I'm sure any of you can remember being there, but us poll workers didn't even get a chance to eat. We didn't get a chance, some of the people didn't get a chance to go and use their own vote because they had to vote in a different district. It was unreal this time. I've never been that tired in my whole life. So I agree that the people are right, that if it's only $68, it's ridiculous not to do something. And when you get to that point where you do talk with the school, I think that it would be the best thing in the world to just give River Edge, especially, the chance to have their budget passed.
Thank you, Peggy. Yeah, you're right. I mean, that's the most I've ever seen at the polls.
Unreal.
I mean, my wife, I talked to my wife at 7:30, she had to work, and just sitting there waiting.
There are many people,
Yeah.
sorry, I know I'm not supposed to do this, but there are many people who came in, especially young parents and what have you, and got their tickets and everything, and they stood online and they realized they had to go get their kids, they had to do this, they're not used to doing, and they had to leave, and it's really illegal to leave with your paper and go out of the building.
We didn't hear that.
And, but they were coming back, and the line was just as long, and what have you. So, I mean, it was the most unreal thing I have ever seen in my life.
She didn't turn the tape on.
Thank you, Peggy. Anybody else?
Lori Edelstein, I just have a quick question.
Please stand up.
Saturday you said you had a meeting. I'm curious. At 7:30 in the morning to discuss the budget, is that an open meeting?
7 a.m.
7 a.m. You
Yes.
said 7:30, he
No,
said 7.
we decided 7 a.m.
Yes, so is it 7?
7.
Okay, is that a public meeting?
Yes.
The public can attend, but it'll be up to the chairs to whether they'll be able to speak. So you can certainly come.
Okay.
It'll be open to the public to listen to what the council discusses that day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? You back?
Mary Kay Buckley, 183 Greenway Terrace, River Edge. I am on the Board of Education, just so that you're aware of that. I am not a Democrat, I'm not a Republican. I'm speaking as a resident of our wonderful community. It's a community that rallies, and for anybody who's ever had a baby in this town, when 12 lasagnas show up on your door the next day, it's because we come together. And for anyone who's ever had cancer in this town, and there's a line of people at your doorstep to take your kids back and forth to school, you realize that it's a community that rallies. And we really did have an opportunity, in my opinion, to rally around this issue of confusion, because we all understood going into it that despite the fact that the board at Riverdale had to put the ballot, or chose to put the question on this ballot, and that there was going to be confusion, we had an opportunity to rally together without breaking any kind of, legal barrier about what the right or wrong thing to do in terms of influencing people's vote. We did not rally together around supporting the schools. And that's, as a result of that, I think we're here tonight and we're all collectively acknowledging that there was confusion. My disappointment in the fact that we did not rally together is my position. But what I'm asking of the council is to educate yourselves and do so with the help of the board administration and the Board of Education, because we have a lot of good information to offer to you. And I would also implore you to leave whatever politicking or politics goes into the decision that's going to be made by the council about the school budget, to leave it at the door and to do what you believe, what you truly believe as an educated council person is the right thing to do with the school budget, and not the politically appropriate thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary Kay. Anybody else? In the back?
Joanne Haggerty, 72 Bloomfield Avenue. I am speaking as a resident. I also happen to be the parent of 3 children educated here. I'm also a teacher at Cherry Hill School. What I would just like to say is that I would like to just respectfully remind the council that as our elected officials, you are entrusted with the care of our town. I know I'm not alone in being someone who's very, very proud to live in River Edge. I'm proud of everything about it. I'm proud of the people. I'm proud of the school. I'm also very proud of the school that I teach in. I'm proud of the people that I teach alongside, and I'm proud of the people that have given up their time in order to run our schools beautifully. The schools in River Edge are something to be proud of. I'm also very pleased with the fact that during this very difficult economic time, I own a house in River Edge, and the value of my home is really, these days, one of the only things I can say I can really hang my hat on. And it concerns me greatly when anything might happen that would decrease the value of my home. And I would just like to really respectfully remind the council that you are entrusted with the care of this beautiful town. And it's a very difficult job that you have. I would ask you to please follow the advice of the many people that have spoken before me as far as becoming educated and not allowing politics to get in the way. And I'd like you to just think, above all else, of the young lady in the front in the pink, who happens to be one of my students. And if her beautiful face and her beautiful future can be the thing that helps you to decide what to do. So, thank you.
Thank you, Joanne. Anybody else? There's a hand over here. Okay, is that everybody? One more?
Sure. Kelly Dent, 192 Woodland Avenue. I'm also a parent. My children have both gone through the elementary schools here, and I teach also at Cherry Hill School. Our school is excellent because our primary focus is always on the children. And as you come to visit us and ask questions, I urge you to keep that same focus. I think you will discover it as you explore how our budget was prepared. And this is one of the reasons I'm so proud to live in this town and to send my children to these schools. Thank you.
Okay, at this time, is anybody else who'd like to speak? Okay, it seems like, appreciate everybody speaking their mind tonight, and, we are listening up here. At this time, I'd like to close this, this session to the public.
So move.
All in favor?
Aye.
And, you know, I'd like to hear from the council with the, you know, some of the response, Alphonse, why don't you start?
Okay. Just going down the list, and I will get to the school, I promise. We attended opening day ceremonies of Regal on Saturday. It was excellent. Thankfully, we had better weather than we did for the Little League opening day. It was a great event. I was glad I could be there. Also, I hope the beautification committee had its flower sale. Got off to a slow start because I think everybody was down at Regal and no one was up in the park, but they then moved down to the park where the Regal was ongoing, so hopefully that went well. I know I bought a couple flats of impatiens for my garden. To answer Ms. Caridi's question regarding the volunteer bank, again, it has to be flushed out here in council, but my vision would be that a list would be maintained administratively here at Borough Hall. Whenever a department needed, thought it needed help, it would tap into that list, and anyone who wanted to volunteer could do so. So that is my idea, and it has to be flushed out. Speaking of the schools, but not the budget yet, I did attend Arbor Day at Cherry Hill. That was a great event. The teachers there did a fabulous job with the kids. I really enjoyed that, so that was great. And also, just again, I will get to the budget.